picked up Hades 2 weeks ago, and in that time, I've logged 30 hours and escaped 13 times. This video took me longer to get out because I've been a little under the weather, so bear with my heavy breathing and nasally voice, but also in reality, the delay has been because I've just become incredibly invested in finishing this game. Believe it or not, this roguelite has one of the best storytelling delivery systems that I've seen in a long time. After fully completing the story, I can without a doubt go as far as to say that Hades is my game of the year. If you like roguelites with a ton of meta progression systems, you're going to 100% fall in love with this. At the beginning, I was a little hesitant to pick this up because I had seen from the trailers that dashing and mobility was a huge emphasis, and I'm not exactly a huge Souls-like fan, but after playing it, I can tell you right now that it leans more heavily on an aggressive emphasis on mobility for a hack and slash more than a roguelike Souls-like. There's no way for me to do Hades justice with an oversimplified version, so I'm gonna try to do my best. You're the son of Hades, you are desperately trying to escape his domain. Each time you die, you spawn back at home, and you get heckled by your dad. That's rinse and repeat right there. You battle through Hades' realm with the support of other Greek gods who give you aid with boons on the way out that affect your types of attacks, your mobility, your dodge, things like that. You also have access to unlockable weapons. Each one has 4 versions that play completely differently, and if you offer up a gift to the gods when you meet them, they're likely to give you a keepsake, which can also be leveled up when you complete encounters. These keepsakes are all different, and they have different abilities, and you get to pick one at the start of each run, with the ability to swap them after defeating each boss in between stages. Each encounter or room gives you 1 to 3 choices as to what reward you'll get at the end of the next encounter. If you need gold, and one of the chambers offers that as a reward, you pick it, you go down that tunnel, and then gold will 100% be your reward at the end. The rewards that you get for each room are completely random, but later you can re-roll them once you've leveled up your mirror. The mirror is a whole subsystem in itself that even has a variant once you get far enough. Think of the mirror as your main meta progression device. It's incremental upgrades at the price of resources, which in this case is darkness that you picked up. Gold doesn't carry over, but almost every other resource does. Gems get you house upgrades. Some are cosmetic, and some have impacts on how your runs play out. There are 3 pretty cookie-cutter levels of hell with a boss arena at the end of each one of them. Some of them have mini-bosses peppered in depending on your story's progression, and there's actually a 4th level on top of that which you fight Hades at the end of, but it's a little bit different, and I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't played it yet. There's systems on top of systems on top of systems, and they all just really work incredibly well together. Here's what I wish I knew before I got started. First and foremost, talk to every single NPC every single time you can. You're limited to 1 conversation per NPC per death per run. So if they're in your hall, talk to them. There's parts of the story that are locked behind where you are in your conversations. You're also locked behind deaths or reloads. So you only get to see them once, talk to them. You may not see them again for another few deaths. A great example for this is that the Achilles story actually locks your progression to getting the hidden spear aspect, which is the prerequisite for all the other aspects. Second, weapon aspects aren't really upgrades, they're completely different weapons. Don't go in thinking that you have to upgrade the second aspect to make the third stronger. They're completely different weapons. 3, your Blood of the Titans is rare-ish, so try out some of the other aspects, but don't feel like you have to upgrade all of them. The base models are perfectly fine. Number 4, there's also a game mode plus version. You can increase the difficulty by adding modifiers, and then you can receive more rewards at the end of those. So know that you're going to get those resources, it's just going to be more difficult. Number 5, you tend to get bloods, diamonds, ambrosia on your first kill with weapon aspects, and after that, you're relying on those bounties in the hard mode version I just talked about for number 4. Number 6, there's a massive amount of strategy. For example, Athena can offer to replenish your Death's Defiances, which is your ability to gain HP back instead of dying once per run. You can use her keepsake to make sure that the next boon that you're presented is from Athena, but at the same point, she also offers Reflect for your attacks as a boon, which means that you may want to start with that at the beginning so that you have Reflect going into each of your runs, which can drastically swing how you perform earlier in the game. Number 7, talk to Achilles ASAP. He starts you with a logbook called a codex. That codex gives you quite a bit of information about how you should actually play the game and what your relationship looks like with each one of the gods and what they offer. Number 8, Don't overlook the cosmetic upgrades for your house. Some actually add something that can be done inside of your house, like keeping track of player stats. Plus, you're going to be in your house a lot, so it's where you land after you die. So a little bit of investing is kind of cool. Number 9, don't skip the dialogue. It's actually pretty entertaining. Once I got sucked into the story, it all started to click. This is one of the few roguelike genre games with a story that actually hooked me. It's not groundbreaking, but it's delivered in a breadcrumb style that makes you kind of have a cliffhanger at the end of each death. So it's like finishing a chapter before going to bed. It's hard to put the book down. Number 10, try out different builds and do not get stuck playing one way. You might find things that you like early on, but so far I haven't found any really bad boons. I've found less powerful synergies, but I'm constantly trying new things out, and so far nothing has felt outright bad. For the final conclusion, I've already said this game is one of my top games for the year, and I'd recommend it at any price. This is a 100% recommend for anybody who loves hack and slash, fast-paced games, and if you're a roguelite fan, it's a bonus. You're going to play through the same 3 levels time after time after time, so if you're someone who wants randomly generated tile sets or completely mixed-match randomized enemies, you're not going to get it here. But after you've discovered all the monster types, you'll know what's to be expected in each one of the domains, which is actually a really good thing because this game is about speed and precision and knowing what's next. My best run is 22 minutes, and I've had runs as long as 37 minutes, but world record is 7 minutes, so you can obviously tell there's a bit of practice makes perfect going into this. Sadly, this has left me with a bit of a void in games to play. After falling in love with this so hard, I think it's going to be hard to replace, and I do plan to do some harder difficulties, but I don't think that that's going to be my shtick. I don't think that playing the same game endlessly and increasing the difficulties is really going to be for me forever. So if anybody else has anything to recommend, I'll desperately be looking for something to fill the void in my soul that Hades has left.